and welcome everybody to our podcast. This is Welcome to Livingston, where we invite local businesses in to talk about what they're doing in the community. My name is Don Putkela.
And I'm Angela Putkela, and we're with the Putkela Group Real Estate Professionals.
Yes, and today I wanted to again announce and bring up our sponsor. We have a new sponsor for our podcast. We are so excited to have Jim Paquette with Lake Michigan Credit Union sponsoring us. So please check him out in the show notes. Reach out to him. He is a great local lender and is just a wonderful person and great to work with. So today we are really excited for our episode today. Today we have Mike Noonan with Noonan Electrical Services. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's great. Hey, 101 episodes. You guys are killing it.
Yeah, we're trying.
This is your first time.
Trying making our way through. It's funny because a lot of the people that we network with, you can go online and check out some of their episodes too.
Very cool.
But great group. But we have never had an electrical service company, and you're kind of our go-to guy. So you're who we recommend to our clients. You're doing great work out there, and we thought it was important to bring you in to our listeners to tell them more about you.
Appreciate that. It's cool.
No, yeah, it's really good. So why don't, to start off, kind of tell us a little bit about what your business is, what you do, where you're located, that sort of thing.
Electrical company, we do all facets of electrical work. Focus a lot on generators, whole house generators. We do a ton of that. And we have an office in Farmington. We've been there for 13 years. Brighton now, we started here almost 2 years now. So like a year and a half to 2 years, flirting with the 2-year mark. So we're kind of getting established out here.
Awesome. Welcome to Livingston, right?
Yeah, I love it. It's a whole different element from like Farmington to Livingston.
Yeah,
it's
it's
neat.
different out here.
It's super cool. Yeah, I love it, and I love doing it because, down in Farmington, it's pretty much it kind of runs itself. I don't really need to be there, and then out here, it's like starting all over again, networking, getting to know like the people in the area, and networking with builders and contractors and real estate groups, and it's fun. It's like where I first started, and now I'm starting all over again. And
that is super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you said, we want to talk about all facets of your business, but I'm really interested in the generator portion because I know that so many people think about and look into that generator, but a lot of times they don't look into it like till, oh my gosh, I just lost power for the last 4 days. Now I'm thinking about it.
It's funny you say that because when you lose power, our phones go nuts and everyone wants a generator like yesterday, and then the power comes back on and they're like, oh, I think we're good. We're like, you either gotta want it or not. Like if you're on a well, if you're on oxygen, stuff like that, those are big
CPAP
things.
machines, things like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you lose power for 3 days. Your refrigerator could go out. That's a lot of food. Food's expensive these days, and you lose all that.
Right.
I mean that's a lot. Not having water, not having hot water, not having oxygen. Those are big things. And those are when people would need a whole house generator, right? Like if you're on oxygen, if you're climbing up in age, you don't want to have to go out there, start a portable generator, plug it in, hit switches. You want to just, when power goes out, within 10 seconds, your generator kicks on and restores power. That's what most people would want, and that's the whole house. Right. Now, I'll tell people, we have a generator for every price point, every person, which that brings in portable generators, which are nice too. If you're price conscious and you want to be willing to do a little bit of work, then go out to the shed, fire up a generator, plug it in, hit a couple switches, and you're back up and running.
Well, and that's a great solution because I've heard from some people say, oh, geez, we can't afford a generator. That's way too much. Well, maybe something like this is a good option for them because then at least they have access to it. Takes a little more work, but at least it's something that is, more in their price range.
It is, and you can do different scales of portables too. So you can do basic furnace, oxygen machine, just something small, or you can go into they make portables that'll do your air conditioners in your house.
Right.
We've even got to the point where we'll do gas connections for natural gas. So you can have a quick connect on your portable generator, connect it to your gas, hit a remote, start it, and then you're restoring power. Then you're not having to go to the gas station to fill up gas. Gas from the gas stations are really based on ethanol, so ethanol in small motors is not good. So if you're not starting your generator every month, letting it run that gas out, then when you need it, you're going to have an issue and it won't start. So the natural gas gets ethanol right out of the picture, quick connect, and you can run for a couple of days without going to get gasoline.
Wow, that is really nice.
Yeah.
And I think one of the biggest things is the difference of like when the power goes out, You'll have people rush to Home Depot, Lowe's, and be picking up generators, right? But they don't understand the correct way to do that, and they can actually damage their house. They can backfeed. They can, there's things that can happen where if you're setting that up beforehand,
with a professional,
yes, it's hooked up the right way. They're teaching them how to do it. If you're not having the automatic one that just clicks on and you have to switch things over, a lot of times people don't know what they're doing there and they can harm themselves.
100%. And they'll buy, you can look at a portable generator. It might look like it's the right one, but it doesn't have 240 volts. It's 120, and you can't even hook up an interlock switch to it. It's literally just extension cord based. So then you have extension cords running through your doors. You have to pull your refrigerator out. You have to plug it in. You can't do your furnace legitly unless you have some electrical knowledge and you're willing to pull your switch out, cut the cord and wire it in directly, because some of they call them suicide switches, where they'll have like a male plug sitting outside your furnace, and they take an extension cord and plug it into it and power your furnace. Well, when power comes back on, that plug is live, and if you were to touch it, you can become electrocuted.
Wow, dangerous.
They have so many different. It's bad, and it's always like you say, it's on a whim. These people just go out and buy these generators from Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever, and they're buying junk generators, just something to get them by. Or if they would have took the time and researched and planned ahead, we could have got them a good generator. We sell generators, portables, whole houses, and we sell top of the line.
Right. Don't just Google it.
Right.
Hire a professional, right?
Yeah. I mean, your lights are out. You're on a whim. I get you. You want to get power up, but let's face it, it's probably not the first time you've lost power. You probably lost it a few times before. Our grid's nowhere near what it used to be, so people are losing power more and more. That's why we're putting in so many generators. But yeah, do your research, figure out what your price point is, what you want to back up. If you're like, hey, some people are camper inspired, they'll tell me all the time, like, hey, we camp a lot, we're minimalists. All right, well then, what do you want? Some people will say, well, I just need my furnace, and then once they get like, well, let's just do the whole thing. We're not that much of a minimalist. We like to be minimalist in the woods, but at home. But that's what I say. What do you want? Do you want just a few things? You want the whole thing? And then let's dive in and see what price point and what unit best fits you.
Right.
And that's all free. We do the free estimates. We'll come in and do an electrical analysis on your house, what you want backed up.
That's very good. So how's the process work in terms of timing? Someone says, hey, I lost power, but now the power's back on. Now I'm going to think about it because I've lost power the last 2 summers in a row.
Yep.
Now I'm going to think about how long does it take from someone calling you to maybe they have a generator hooked up in their house?
We can usually get out there within a week for an estimate. We'll come out there, tell you what you need, get your analysis done, see what unit you want, and then after that point, we're about 4 weeks from an install. A lot of the whole house generators now, the gas supply to your house isn't large enough to feed these generators. So we have to have a discussion about your gas meter, what size you have, what it's capable of doing. Most of the time it's not, so we'll help navigate through that to get you a meter upgrade. So when you do lose power in the winter, when your furnace is on, your hot water heater is on, and then you try to fire a 300,000 BTU generator, you're not going to have the gas. And the last thing you do is want to spend all this money on a generator and not have enough gas to fuel it. So some companies will not tell you that, and they'll just, because it's a fee between you and your provider. But if you're going to spend that type of money on a generator, you want it to work when you need it.
And it's funny because that's how we work our business as well, that we don't believe in surprises.
Yeah.
So while it's not wonderful to have to grapple with that, since at some point or another it's going to come up, wouldn't you rather have someone that's going to point it out to you at the beginning and make sure that you're able to navigate through?
I mean, if you're spending that type of money, you want everything to be transparent, right? Like, I don't want a surprise, well, you sell a house and all of a sudden you need a furnace and air conditioner or new electrical panel. Like, you want to know that at the beginning, not after you close. And then people are like, well, why didn't you tell me this? Or why didn't,
Yeah. And we believe in making sure that our buyers always get a professional inspection. I can't get over how many of our listings that people do waive inspections. And the thing is that they do discover things. And electrical is something that's very important, that sometimes there will be electrical issues in a home.
All mechanicals in a house are
Yes.
roofing, furnace, electrical panels, plumbing, carpet, paint, that's not the end of the world. But when you get in the when the mechanicals and the structures,
Just because it turns on doesn't mean it's working correctly.
that is true. Yeah, you buy your house when it's dry. I'll say you have a rainstorm and your sump pump doesn't work and your basement floods. I don't want to find that out after the fact.
Right. And inspectors can't cover everything, but at least it does put you head and shoulders above not having one.
Right. I mean, some of them are good. You have some good inspectors out there that can really dive in and, they know what they're looking. They were, retired builders or, those are the ones that really can tell you what.
Right.
And I can look at some of the reports and say, this guy knows what he's talking about, or this guy pulled off his general list of inspect and just checked the boxes. And, you found the house needs 5 GFIs, but you didn't know that it needed a whole new electrical panel because the bus bars rusted out. Yeah. But you're focused on the GFIs, which are cheap compared to a whole panel, right?
Right.
And I'll tell you, when a buyer goes through a house and it has a generator, that's kind of a big, ooh, like we've always wanted to put one in. But for the house to already have it and it's there and it's set, like that's such kind of a nice move. So even in terms of people getting generators from you, in terms of real estate and resale for the home.
Yeah, I would say that that's not something you lose value on.
Right.
I know you can drop $10,000 on a generator without blinking, or more, right?
Yeah,
more.
Yeah,
exactly. But to the people out there, you're getting that benefit while you have it in the house. You have that peace of mind, and it is a huge value when you sell a house that has a whole house generator already hooked up.
It is. And for you guys, one thing I would tell you is, so there's maintenance that's due once a year on those: oil change, spark plugs, air cleaner, oil filter, check the transfer switch. We have a whole list that we go through. If that's not done yearly, that could void the warranty on it as well. Most come with a 5-year warranty. Sometimes they run 10s and 7s, but you have to do that maintenance once a year. And a lot of people will forget about that and not do their maintenance. So if it's sitting there for 3 years without an oil change or a battery check, is it going to start when you need it? So you want to make sure you do that preventative maintenance on it. It's like anything else in your house. You want to do the maintenance, and the generator, there's no exceptions there either. Make sure you do your tune-ups, whether it's with us or whoever you bought it from. But we do a service plan for our customers that we automatically call them every year when it's due, and then get them on the schedule. Most of our stuff is all outside, so we don't have to come in your house. We can just, hey, we'll be there whatever time this day, and we can just do the service outside. Take pictures of it, and then send them the detail and all that stuff.
Nice. Very convenient.
Yeah, it is. You don't got to be home. That's why we try to make everything outside. So if you're on vacation, something goes wrong with your generator, we can transfer switch, generator, it's all outside. We can get it all fixed.
Right. Oh. Yeah, because I know those, they cycle on in 15 minutes every month or something. They turn on, and you can see the light go on, and they, do what they're supposed to do, so you know that they're running and such. But you need to get that maintenance done, just like with your furnace and your AC. Have someone come in, check it over, make sure. It's amazing how many times, we'll talk to a seller, and they'll be, you go down there, it's like the filter's never been changed.
Yeah.
It's like black as night.
Yep.
So I was going to ask, I know you guys do a lot with generators and such, but what are some of the other common projects, things that you see the most that you're out there working with people on?
We do a lot of lighting. People, if you have a house built in the 50s, most of the time you'll walk in, hit a switch, it turns on a plug, which turns on a lamp, which, fine in the summertime, or in the wintertime, that room is super dark. So people want recessed cans, lights the whole room up. So we'll do that. We'll rewire it back to the switch and then throw recessed cans. Actually, they're not cans anymore. They're canless, so they're wafers, which before we used to cut recessed cans in. They were 6 inches tall. We had to cut them. Hopefully there was no plumbing up there. Hopefully there was no truss in the way. Goodness. Now we can cut a hole right in the middle of your truss and put a 1/2-inch wafer, select the color temperature of, color temperature is the big deal. Like these lights, 4,000 Kelvin, 2,700 Kelvin. It's a big difference, and it's a big misconception in LED lights. People are like, oh, they're so bright, they're white, we hate them. Well, you're picking the wrong color. You're probably at a 5,000 daylight color temperature in your room when you really want a 3,000 color temperature. So the lights that we put in are selectable color from 2,700 up to 6,000. So it's the full spectrum of the LED. And what color would you like? That color, pick it, then all your room is that color. So your basement doesn't have to be the same color temperature as your living room or your bedroom. You can pick whatever color temperature you want in each one. Like a bathroom, you'd probably want a brighter 4,000 Kelvin, a whiter light, whereas in your living room, you want a 3,500, a more relaxing, soothing light. So that's a big part of our job is lighting.
And the consultation that you're familiar with it. So for someone else, if they just describe, okay, this is sort of what I want, then at least you know how to advise them.
Exactly, because the recessed lights have a beam pattern, so you want the beam patterns to crisscross to fill your room. So people look in the room and say, how many do you want? Well, how many do you want? Well, I want this many. No, it's how much light do you want? What light are you looking for? And let's figure that out, and then have a discussion on where the lights need to be and how they can fill the room, or if you just want accent lighting or you want to watch the walls. Those are all questions, and that we would answer on our estimate.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
We're not just like, hey, you need 10 lights in here because we're charging per light. No, let's make this a nice room and make it. At the end of the day, we want you to be happy, and we want to be
right. And it's almost done to the person's use. This is what they want in the room. Custom experience. But having that difference, I know exactly what you're talking about, because there are people that don't like the LEDs, but they're picking the wrong bulb.
Yeah. Yeah, like you look at their house and it's daylight, and it looks like daylight there. It's bright white, and you pick the right color temperature. Right. It drives me. Or you'll see multiple different ones because they buy the light bulbs or they'll buy LED replacements, and they just buy different colors. We have like an orange light here, a bright white light here.
See that a lot of times with our sellers. Sometimes we say, okay, I don't care whether you go
make
this
a
way
choice.
Or that way.
They just all
have to match.
The same color temperature.
Right? You walk in and they have the pendant lights, right?
Yes.
And you're like, white, yellow, white, super white.
Yeah. They just go to the closet, whatever they have, or they just buy the wrong bulbs. So.
Right.
And that's just educating people on that. We do a lot of lighting. We've been doing it a long time, so we know what works and what products work, and we'll explain that, like fans, what type of fan you should buy, all that type of stuff. What size fan should you have in your bedroom? What direction does it go in the summer? What direction does it go in the winter?
They don't know that you have to switch that.
They don't know. No, they'll have it on the wrong way. Or
When we've been through some houses that the fans were way too big.
Yeah.
It's like,
they look
my
cool,
goodness.
but they're huge.
Yeah.
Like a normal fan is a 52-inch fan. If you have a larger room, 65 to a 72-inch fan looks great. They don't have to spin that fast to move a lot of air. So, I would rather have a slow-moving fan pushing a lot of air if I have a large room than a small fan just flying around trying to cool the room off.
Right.
Exactly. And that's something that's easy enough to have you guys install that, for some people that have always said, boy, I just sure wish there had been a fan in this room. Well, hey, talk to the professionals because, it's that quality of life. And some of those projects you're talking about can really make a huge impact, especially for those people that are staying in their house. They have no intention to move anytime soon. But, what are those little things that can make the house that you're in so much better?
Yes. And a big thing with fans are a lot of homeowners will hang their own fans, and they'll hang their fans on a plastic box that's only rated to hold a light fixture, not a fan. So a fan has to have a metal support rated for 100 pounds screwed to your joists, so it'll hold that weight of the fan moving around. I can't tell you how many houses I've been in, the fan just wobbling because it's sitting on a bar hanger and the box is moving and the fan can't hang on. And it's like, and your kids are in that room.
Oh my gosh.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So, sometimes it pays to have a professional come out and look at it, because we're gonna pull your fixture down, make sure you have a metal fan support. If you don't, we're gonna pull it out, put one in, and then hang your fan, and it's gonna be done right.
Right. Hey, speaking of going into people's houses, one of the things I wanted to ask about is, we have clients that they'll buy a house in downtown Howell, downtown Brighton, that was built before anything was ground.
Yeah.
So how does that process work? We're walking through a house with someone and they're looking at them. They're like, I can't even plug my vacuum in because there's not a third prong, right? So if someone calls you up and says, hey, can you come out and look at this? What does that process look like if the house has really old wiring?
So I'm going to tell you have three options.
Okay.
Option one is a non-grounded plug that meets code. That's where you can't plug your vacuum cleaner in. You can't plug anything in, but that meets code. Option two is a GFI, which is a ground fault circuit interrupter, which makes up for your ground. That is the second cheapest option to put those. But if you don't really want GFIs running around your whole house, I usually tell people if you're going to go that option where your TVs are, where your computers are, stuff like that, pop a GFI in. Third option is run a whole new circuit to each one of those plugs and put a grounded receptacle in there. Now, I'll also tell people that too, that put that grounded circuit where you think you'll utilize it most. TVs, computers. You don't need to put it behind your couch if you have nothing back there. So if your house is laid out, where are your main plugs going to be? And let's focus on those and run circuits and ground wires to those that you're going to use them. Because if we did every one in your house, a lot of those plugs aren't being used.
Right.
So we will pick which ones: kitchen, bathrooms.
Yeah.
Those they're
Kitchen,
near
bathroom.
water. You definitely want to have a ground source there. So countertops need 2 circuits just for your countertops, and then your appliance circuits and stuff like that. But we'll usually have that discussion on where we should focus on, what needs grounds. Other ones would just pop a couple GFIs around, would run circuits to these ones, and figure out what your uses are and how we can execute it.
Yeah, because again, people don't realize how much money that could be saving them in the long run. You get a lightning bolt, you get a surge, all of a sudden they're like, well, my microwave, my TV, these things are toast.
Yeah.
And they don't realize what it is that protects them.
Yeah. Ground wires and surge protectors, which surge protectors just came in March, that you have to have a whole house surge protector in your house if you upgrade your panel. So March, I believe it was March 16th that came into place. So anytime we pull a permit for a panel upgrade, you get a whole house surge protector. So it's nice. It protects you. A surge protector, people don't understand, it comes with $20,000 load protected guarantee. So if I put a surge protector in your house and you experience a surge that wrecks your house, they will pay up to $20,000 already deductible on your house if it's installed by a professional. It would be us, and backed up. I mean, that's a good peace of mind.
Yeah.
And we go into surges all the time. It's a millisecond. A lightning bolt, a surge for medicine, anything with a microchip, microwaves, stoves, your sprinkler systems, EV chargers, all of that stuff is wiped out, gone. I mean, it's thousands, tens of, 20s of thousands of dollars.
Right. Yeah, we lost a microwave on that, if you remember.
Oh, I do.
And then I added a GFCI just for the microwave.
Yeah.
Because I'm like installing a new one, and this is not going to happen again.
Yeah. That's that's one good thing about having those GFIs throughout your house is they will trip before the surge will hit it. So if you have a TV with a GFI on it, it's going to trip before it blows.
Right.
So that's there's benefits to doing the GFIs. Before they used to have a red and black button on them. They were pretty ugly. Now they're all white or ivory or whatever color you get. So you don't have that ugly button sticking out. So they blend in fairly well. You don't really know that you have them around.
The way it's more subtle.
Yeah, they're just 4 times as much as a normal plug.
But plugs are very reasonable.
But a quarter of the price of running a new circuit to them.
This is very true.
That's what. Are you staying here? Is this your forever home? Let's have that discussion and let's see. Should we run a new circuit or should we pop a GFI in there? All good conversations to have. Yeah,
right?
We have options for most things. There's a good, better, best, right?
Right.
Yeah. That's neat. But if you do a panel change, you need to disconnect outside too. And that was a big ordeal coming into March with our new code update that panels aren't cheap anymore. They were fairly okay, but now with disconnects and surge protectors, that adds quite a bit of money to these panels. So the disconnect is for firemen. If your house is on fire, they can go outside before they pull the meter. Well, some fires don't feel like comfortable pulling a meter, so now we put a disconnect switch out there. And something's going on with your house, they just walk up and hit your switch and shut your whole house off.
Now, are those locked, or can someone just walk up to a house and,
They can. You can lock them. There's locking means on them. I think they got to have a lock where the fire department can get into them.
Can get into it, right?
They just have bolt cutters. They'll cut those things right off and turn it off. But yes, you can lock it.
Well, it's just amazing how much more they're coming through with safety measures.
Yeah, right.
If you have a fire in the house, they want to be able to shut that power off.
Yeah.
So, that's a good thing. But for people out there to know, if you're going to be changing over your panel, if you're going to be putting a sub panel on that you're doing something, the professional comes out there. It's not as simple a task as it was before, because now there's new rules that you're going to get safety for it, but it's more involved.
Right. Well, we're going to come out. We're going to look at it. We're going to pull a permit for it, and we're going to give you a price. Now, if somebody comes in and is doing it without a permit, then they're not going to, or maybe they're not licensed. Maybe they don't know what they're doing, and they're not pulling a permit. They're not putting a disconnecting means outside, and they're not putting a surge protector in your house. Right. And then they're like, why is this guy more expensive? Why are you more expensive than this guy? Because he's not doing it nowhere near to code. And that's when you hear all those horror stories. I hired this contract. Well, did you do your research? Does he have a brick and mortar building? Is he insured? Is he pulling a permit on your job? Those are all good questions to ask your contractor to make sure you're getting a good contractor, right? You hire a guy that's working out of a man in a van. It's good luck. You're not going to get, he's way cheaper, but is he going to show up? Is he going to warranty it? Absolutely not. He's going to throw your panel in. It's going to be wrong. Down the road he goes, and good luck ever hearing from him again. So
Well, and it's funny because for us as women, we totally understand when you have somebody who's like just a budget cut and this is what you get, or the top of the line.
Yeah.
That in terms of a lot of trades, I've kind of found that to be too of, you really want quality service.
Yeah.
And, one electrical service is not the same as the next.
Correct.
And so it's so important to have someone, whether it's electrical or building or so forth, all the different vendors, have one that you can trust that's licensed, insured, they have those reviews, which
Yep.
I know you guys have
Yeah.
a lot of great reviews.
yeah, I think we're like 800 and something right now.
That's good.
A lot of happy customers. But so as long as, in terms of the listeners, as long as you have someone that's very reputable, that does a great job, then you're in good shape. It's just, know that there are people out there that aren't that top of the line, and just to be careful.
And we focus and we pride ourselves on that. So from the time you call our office to our office staff, setting up your estimate, you're going to get a picture of your estimator who's coming to your house to estimate it and what time. You'll get an email the night before, and you'll get a on your way from whoever's coming to your house when they are in their truck heading to your house. So you get a picture, you get a reminder the night before and the day of. And then after, when you approve your estimate, then you get a picture of the technician that's going to be doing your job. And usually have that a couple of weeks before, because they schedule a couple of weeks before. So you'll know who's coming to your house. So you have a picture of him coming to your house. You'll know the van or the truck that's coming, and it's fully lettered. We take all the guesswork out, and we want to make it a good experience. So you can rest assured that licensed, insured, and contractor coming to your house is who he says he's going to be. So that's peace of mind, because my wife's at home and we have contractors going to our house. I don't get that service. We're like, they just show up. I'm like, what the heck? I thought everybody kind of ran like you got the heads up, and like, no, they just show up. Don't set up drop cloths. Don't take your shoes off. Like, that's a big thing. We're coming up, or our shoes are off. We're shutting down drop cloths. We have dust boot covers for all of our recessed light. We're trying to make it like when we leave your house, like we were never there.
Yeah.
So
and you show up on time.
Yeah, up on time.
is
We're always there. Well, yeah, everybody
taking the day off
everybody has
from
busy
work
schedules, off of work or what. Yeah, you're not. People aren't just sitting home anymore. Well, I don't know.
No,
I think everyone's back to work.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than you're sitting there and they never show up.
Oh.
Or you get a call, oh, we're not going to be there today. It's like, well, I took the day off.
Yeah, I fully expect you to be there.
Right.
Like, I mean, yeah, we'll never not be there. If we're there, we're showing up. Like, usually it's the customers reschedules on us. It's not us rescheduling on them, because we're booked out 4 weeks in advance. We're going to be there when we say we're going to be there. And
Yep.
if we have somebody sick, then we're moving stuff around. We're going to be there.
And communicating,
Yeah.
which I think is so fantastic. The
Yeah.
reliability, the communication, those are such huge things. And I know you've had a lot of happy customers with all those great reviews. And
Yeah. We have a text thread. We text back and forth with all of our customers. Like, it starts off initially with a text that, hey, we're on our way, and they'll text back, or they'll text back with questions on their project at, hey, we forgot to, we wanted a recess light. Now we want a dimmer. Can we add that? Sure. We look through our pictures that we took, and we know what type of switch they have. We'll just add a dimmer. And that's nice to be able to communicate with your contractor.
Yeah.
And have that, like, oh, well, let's go out there and price it. Like the week before, here's the price of it. Here's what's, and there it is. So
Right.
that way you're not on the spot thinking, oh, should I pay for it? Like, you have some time to think about it. Do you want 1 or do you want 10? And here's the price per, and think it over. When we get there, let us know a couple days before. We'll throw it on a truck and it'll be installed.
That is really good, because
Yeah,
I know with home projects, the projects always change.
Yep.
It's rarely exactly the same from the estimate to the finish. There's always some twists and turns. I wanted to add this, or I wanted to remove this, or, oh, this contractor bought in this in terms of, the plumbing, and now I want to change the electrical because of that.
Yeah, it does. So for us, when we quote your project, we're pretty good. And it doesn't change much on our end. Like, you run into something in the wall, it's just going to change. Is going to be, hey, we now need to make a hole here and a hole here, and we explain that this beam is here. We need to cut here, and drill it. You'll need to get a contractor out to fix that. But our price isn't going to change. Oh, this beam here, now you have to pay like $500. No, we're just going to make the holes in the wall, drill it, and get it done. But you just know that you have to get a painter. We try to, when we give our price, we keep it right there, unless the homeowners scope creeping, we call it. Like, hey, while you're here, can you just add 6 more fans to the job?
Right. So one thing I wanted to ask also, because I know you guys do like a lot in renovations, and if someone's finishing a basement or remodeling a kitchen, and then you do the generators and such. If you had someone that was starting from scratch with a custom built home, will you go in and give them an estimate and do that entire electrical start to finish there and the whole project too?
Yeah, we can. We can do start to finish, new construction all the way to from putting the panel in, wiring the house, all of it. We do that. A lot of basements, like remodeling basements. A lot of people buy the house, get the house built, and then want us to come in and really make their basement a masterpiece. So we'll do that. We've linked up with some pretty cool contractors on here writing it.
We've had ATA.
Yeah, so ATA we do a lot with those guys, and we make some pretty cool basements.
Yeah, that's so cool.
They're neat, and just talking about cool. I know we were kind of talking a little about smart houses. Man, those are cool. Like you can control your whole lights in your whole house. Like I have my levels on my house set for like 11 o'clock p.m. to just turn off. So if my kids are, if they're out past 11, then the lights can come back on. But I also have another sweep that comes through at 2:30 that shuts all the lights back off again. So you can set it for your garage door to close at midnight every night, all your lights to turn off, different scenes, schedules. If you're on vacation, you can hit smart away. It randomly turns lights through your house on, makes it look like you're there.
Wow.
So energy saving too, right? Like in all your light, like my kids leave every house my light on. I don't know why.
Oh my gosh,
and we'll leave and I'll say, hey, are all the lights off? They're like, yep. Check on my phone. No, they're not. Your bedroom's on. Your bathroom light's on. The hallway light's on, and you can just turn them off. But if you leave and you're gone all night and all those lights are on, that's that all adds up.
That all adds up. Yeah, no,
it's a waste.
And that's the interesting thing because we don't have much smart in our house, but like you're going to back out of the driveway and you're like, damn it. Back out of the car, upstairs, that one light, they left the hall light on, or, 11 o'clock at night, you're getting into bed, you're like, I know someone left the garage door open. I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to check that out. So people don't realize that not only is it peace of mind and it saves you time over the course of time, that's going to save you a lot of money because like basement lights, the kids go down there and play in the basement and 2 days later I open up the door and I'm like, how long have these been on?
Oh yeah. yeah. Are they the pull chain ones? Because we had to walk to every light and pull it off. That's another, we got, a lot of people don't like those pull chain lights, right? Because you got to pull them on, but then they don't want to pull them off either. So they leave them on and they go upstairs and those lights stay on for how long? And
are terrible.
Are they incandescents? Most of the incandescents are in basements because they're not swapping to LEDs. So those are the literally 60 to 100 watt light bulb just blaring down there. So
right.
Yeah, it's nice to have being able to turn it off. Like you were saying, pulling into your driveway, you can add geofencing to your system. I just click it on. When my phone gets 100 feet from my door, turn all the lights off. Program that. And as you're driving off, all your lights in your house turn off.
Wow.
Yeah. So you can geofence it, you can schedule it, you can time it. There's so much stuff you can do. You can link it to your Ring doorbell. So when you sense motion, turn on my porch light, turn on my bedroom, whatever light you want, it all links.
Now, how hard is the process of turning a home that doesn't have those kind of devices in it to one that does?
We can do a standard house in a day. Yep. Pop the switches out, turn it on, program it, hook the hub up. Yeah, and I mean we can do a good portion of your house in half a day if you want to get just a starter. We have like starter packages we'll start with, but it's where you want the starter packs. Once you get that feeling of turning it, then you're like you want them all on. Yeah. I did that at my house. I'm like I'll just do a few of them, and I see like no way because when you're walking up the stairs and you see a light on, you can't turn it off, and you wire another switch, and you want them all to be able to work.
Right.
Yep.
So you're switching out the switches and then it's hooking up to like a Wi-Fi hub that's attached to your phone.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's as simple as before you used to have a big box and wire all these switches, but now you can do each individual one, and they can communicate with each other too.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And then 3-way switches. We used to throw like wire a 3-way switch and run the wiring. Well, now, like if you have like the oldest house you're talking about, the 50s and 40s, they never had 3-way switches. Well, you can IR these switches. You can wire a hardwired one in, IR it to one, and it's literally a remote that it looks like a switch, but it's nothing in there, and it communicates back and forth. You can turn it off and on.
Really?
Yep.
So you can add a switch somewhere where there wasn't one.
We can add 3-ways, 4-ways, all the way through.
Right, because I know there's always people in houses, and even in our house, where like, this switch doesn't make any sense here. It should have had this other thing here. We have one at the bottom of the stairs. And Angela asked me, she's like, how can you switch this out to be at the top? And like, I'm like, honey, this is a 2-story foyer.
Yeah.
I'm like, this isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm not wiring and pulling this over, but to be able to put a switch in that's just, remote that way.
And that changed a lot of our stuff because, houses with foyers have firewalls at 8 foot up and it wraps the hole. So you're drilling, you have to drill holes and drill through that to get upstairs. Well, now if you want a fan in your upstairs foyer, I can grab power from the attic, wire the fan, put a switch by your scuttle, IR that switch to 2 different locations downstairs without drilling any holes. You'd have one at your front door, one on your upper level. Your main switch is wired in your attic, which you never need access to. And then you're communicating and you don't have to drill holes.
It makes it so much easier because before for people that do their own projects at home, they say, hey, I want a light in the middle of this room, or I want to do these things. And the problem has always been, where's the power and how much drilling am I going to have to do?
Yeah.
But to remove that section of it, a lot of people that are listening may not know, hey, that project that you've been putting off, it's a lot easier because now the technology has hit where you can get there without having to bust up a ton of drywall.
Yeah.
So you just hire the professionals and they can make your life so much easier.
So much easier.
I mean, the recessed can, we're still drilling. If you have living space above and if you want cans down low, we're still going to drill holes. But the switching, we can do that, like we were just talking about. And if you do have holes for recessed cans, we have contractors come. We schedule it with our contractors. Like they'll come right behind us and patch your hole. So it'll be, hey, if we schedule it right, we can come in Monday, cut all your recessed cans, and Tuesday the painter's coming out, patching your holes, painting it. You're back to life as normal on Wednesday. So it's not like, all right, I'm going to live with holes in my ceiling for a month while I try to find this guy to do it. They work with us so much. They just know we all our holes are cut with the same size hole saw. So they just keep the pucks for them. They put them back in. They patch it. It's pretty seamless, and it works. It works good for the customer. They don't have to deal with calling their preferred vendors of ours, and we just come in and do the whole project for you.
Right.
That's
So you're setting all that up.
We're setting all up.
They don't have to stress about, well, I had this person now. Who am I going to find to paint it? Who am I going to find to do that? That is really good.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, that's nice.
This is so awesome.
Yeah.
I do want to ask, this is one of my favorite questions,
Okay.
is that especially now as you've kind of come from Farmington and into Livingston here, what's your favorite thing about Livingston County?
I think it's a tight knit. I mean, this is a pretty tight knit community. Like everybody knows everybody out here. Like if I go to these networking groups or meet these people, like, oh yeah, I know this person, and it's pretty tight knit. I think it's a good community. Everybody cares about each other, looks out for each other. Downtown's amazing. This area here is great, and I love coming down here. Just going to Chamber of Commerce or like next door Label. It's all good food, and it's neat. It's a different experience. It's not as hustle bustle as Farmington, Novi, Northville, like crazy. Can't drive around here. It's nice. And I mean, I was driving down the road and I was just saying, I networked with him and seen it. And like you see a lot of familiar faces.
Very small town
I like
feel.
that small town feel. I don't know how long that's going to be there more. I mean, it's getting pretty built up around here everywhere I look.
I think we've done a good job keeping that culture though, too.
Yeah.
Even though, and that's, part of as we began this podcast, because we had all these people moving into Livingston County and they wanted to know, who do we call for this or that? Or, in Don's case, you've always said of like, okay, wait, Main Street's closed off. I didn't even know there was a festival.
Yeah.
That there's all these things going on, but this is our opportunity to, really just stay connected to the community and help support that culture.
Yeah.
And as people have known, and here we're, over 100 episodes now, I'm willing to bet if you took a peek on our thing there, you probably recognize a bunch of people.
I'm sure. Yeah. Well, that's how I met you guys, was through a networking group.
Yeah.
Right. I was at the one with you were there, and I met you, and then I've seen you at a few different functions, and it's
everybody knows each other.
Everybody runs in the same circle out here.
Very true.
It's very tight, but they look out for you. Like, hey, Mike, you need to check this place out. I think you'd fit in good here, or it seems like everybody has your best interest in mind down here. It's like really good people. Yeah, I like that. And good food out here. It's neat. My wife and I will come out here at night and grab like restaurants and hit places, and it's different than our normal, area restaurants around there, and different culture. I like it.
Yeah, we love Livingston so much.
Well, real quick, I know we've gone over a lot of stuff, and you do so much and everything. If someone wanted to reach out and get an estimate from you, or have them come out and look at a project, how do people get a hold of you?
So our office, office is our office phone number. You want let's list the number on here. So our office number is 248-896-2147. That's probably the easiest way to get a hold of us. That goes directly to our Farmington office, and they'll dispatch it out. You can email us at info@noonanmi.com. That's email. We communicate a lot during email. You can schedule via email. You can schedule on our website at www.noonanelectricalservices.com. We have a section for you if you want to, you can schedule your estimate on there. You don't even need to call us. I do have a great office staff, though. If you want to talk to Jennifer or Amy, they're more than willing to get you guys all set up. And if you call our office, 9 to 5, 8:30 to 5, someone's always in the office. Emails anytime you want.
Sounds good. And we'll make sure to include those in the show notes too.
Great.
If, for those listeners, kind of on the road or not by paper and pencil.
Yeah.
Then those will be in there as well.
Great. Yeah. It's busy times. We're crazy. It's we're moving and shaking.
That is good. I know, since the pandemic, people have been much more conscious of the home that they live in, and they're doing a lot more in renovations and a lot more in thinking about how their home suits them best so that they can get the most out of it.
Yeah.
And, a good electrical service company is a big part of that. So, we thank you for, coming on the show and, being involved in our community.
Thanks for having me. It's been great.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Yes. So please check out our previous episodes. Like us on Facebook or Instagram. Go to welcometolivingston.com to check out some of our other episodes. And
great. And welcome to Livingston.